Hello, and a very warm welcome to Mind Sprout Books, the channel where we explore holistic self-development through the wisdom of great books. Today, I'm excited to share an incredibly useful book on effective communication, Crucial Conversations. As the title suggests, it's all about navigating the conversations that matter most. Now, you might think these kinds of communication skills are just for business leaders or professional negotiators. But the truth is, crucial conversations are happening all around us, every single day, and they directly impact the quality of our lives and careers. So what exactly is a crucial conversation? It's any conversation where the stakes are high, meaning if the communication fails, there will be serious consequences. For instance, you constantly remind your child to do their homework, only to be met with avoidance or a snappy reply. When you propose a viable solution to your boss, but you're immediately shot down. When work is urgent, you ask a subordinate to work overtime, but you're met with silence. When you try to discuss finances with your spouse, they just tune you out. When you ask your neighbor not to throw trash in your walkway, they yell back at you. All of these high-stakes interactions are crucial conversations. Another element is when strong emotions are involved. You and the other person are angry, raising your voices. The back and forth in these moments is decisive because it can escalate the conflict, leading to a bigger fight and hurting the other person. Or, in another scenario, you and the other person simply have different, even completely opposing opinions. However, when these pivotal moments arise, most people react in one of two ways. The first is to confront, to attack with words, lose control, lose your composure, and ultimately mess things up. The second is to avoid, to just let it go, pretend nothing happened, and then withdraw and stay silent. The reality is, behind every communication issue lies a problem that needs to be solved. In life, the more difficult the situation, the more complex the underlying issues, and the greater their impact. Whether you attack someone with words or retreat into silence, both are forms of ineffective communication that directly poison the family atmosphere. The result? Children become distant, the foundation of a marriage is shaken, and the bond between a couple fades. This often stems from countless unresolved, crucial moments in daily life. Similarly, improper communication with leaders and colleagues can seriously hinder your professional progress. The book I'm sharing today was written to solve this very problem. The team of 4 authors includes renowned behavioral researchers, speakers, and corporate training consultants. They spent over 20 years and observed more than 100,000 people to create this masterpiece on communication. Reading this book will help you express your views safely and effectively during those pivotal moments. Next, let's dive into the specific methods for effective, conflict-free communication. The authors call the 2 common reactions, confrontation or avoidance, the fool's choice, because they are based on our primitive animal instincts. They originate from our earliest days when encountering a dangerous animal meant either running away or fighting fiercely. But whether you flee or fight, blood rushes to your limbs, not your brain. That's why in high-stakes moments, like speaking in public, talking to your boss, proposing to your partner, arguing with your spouse, or hearing someone say something absurd, you feel your mind go blank and you become clumsy. The words you need to say get stuck, while the ones you shouldn't say just tumble out. So, to avoid falling into this trap, the first step is to recognize that your old habits of speaking recklessly, getting angry, attacking others, or avoiding conflict and suffering in silence are all instinctual. If you want to master yourself and your life, you must conquer this instinct. But how? The answer, of course, is to maintain your reason and control your emotions. You've probably heard countless books and philosophies advise us to control our emotions, but why is it still so easy to lose our cool or feel hurt when we hear something we don't like? The authors argue it's because you haven't truly embraced a core principle of communication. Be 100% respectful and 100% honest at the same time. Many people don't believe this is possible because, well, the truth hurts. If you're afraid of someone, you won't communicate sincerely. For example, fear of your parents, your boss, losing a friend, or your partner leaving you. On the other hand, if you're not afraid, it's easy to blurt out harsh words without any restraint. So, to implement this principle, the first step is to understand how to approach communication. One, start with heart. Masters of communication always speak from the heart. So what does that mean? The heart is the place that allows you to return to your natural state of simplicity and sincerity. The heart doesn't know anger. Only the ego, our instincts, and our sense of self know anger. A crucial conversation turns fiery or sinks into silent conflict, precisely when anger starts to brew within you. Some people express this anger outwardly with harsh, blaming words. Others hide it with a cold shoulder or silence. But in either form, once anger takes over, genuine communication is impossible. The authors point out that people often get angry to justify their own behavior and blame others. When we hear something that makes us uncomfortable or contradicts our views, one of three mindsets typically takes over. First is the victim mentality. They are bad, wrong, and stupid. I am good, right, and smart. The second is the villain mentality. You exaggerate your own innocence while overemphasizing the other person's faults, completely ignoring their good intentions, neutral actions, or even their excellent contributions. For example, you see a boss who pays close attention to every product detail as a controlling micromanager. If your husband asks you to keep the house tidy, you call him picky and demanding. The third is the helpless mentality. It's no use saying anything. He'll never listen anyway. I've previously talked about the ABC model of cognition. A is the activating event, B is your belief or interpretation of it, and C is the emotional consequence. When you're in one of these three mindsets, stress is guaranteed. To reduce that stress, what's the best approach? Change A or change B? Many people spend their lives trying to change A to change C. For example, your child's poor grades are event A. You feel ashamed, seeing it as a direct reflection of your parenting. B, your interpretation. As a result, you feel anxious and stressed. C, to solve this, you believe you must lecture your child or pressure them to study harder, changing A to change C. But you'll find that no matter how hard you try to change A, your stress doesn't decrease, because your child may not improve. And even if they do, they might be silently rebelling or growing distant. Other children, under pressure and harsh words, may choose to suffer psychological trauma alone. You need to understand that getting angry easily, feeling stressed, and wanting others to change is instinctual. It's also a social habit. As the book The Places That Scare You says, when you learn to break social habits, you stop blaming others for your unhappy feelings. Only then can you return to the heart of the matter and speak from a place of sincerity instead of blame. You won't get angry so easily. We talk to each other to solve problems, not to force someone to change dramatically according to our wishes. 2. Refocus on your real purpose. Once you're conscious of shifting your perspective, the next crucial step is to redefine the purpose of the conversation. This brings you one step closer to your heart. Here, the authors provide a 4-question roadmap to guide you back to the core issue. Before you speak, ask yourself these questions. Let's say your child is always on their phone, scrolling through entertainment or constantly texting, and it makes you furious. You want to have a crucial conversation. Don't just blurt out your anger. First, ask yourself, what do I really want for myself from this conversation? I want this conversation to help my child reduce their screen time and focus more on their studies. Next, ask yourself, what do I really want for the other person? I want my child to feel my love, to know I want what's best for them, and to find a healthy balance between studying and relaxing. The next question, what do I really want for the relationship? I want this conversation to bring us closer, so my child can feel my unconditional love. When you can answer the first 3 questions, the answer to the 4th, how should I behave to achieve these results, will naturally become clearer. You might become more patient and choose a better time to talk. You might start by gently expressing your concern and then listening to their perspective. You could connect with them through your own past experiences, admitting that you also got hooked on video games or spent hours binge-watching a show about your favorite celebrity when you were young. That's a normal part of growing up. Then, you can gently guide them. When your mood is positive and you're calm, you can communicate effectively. Furthermore, it's perfectly normal if your child can't control their emotions, even when you're calm. We'll discuss what to do when the other person loses their cool later. For now, remember not to let others dictate your emotions. The key to this 4-question process is to always remember the true purpose of the dialogue. You know why people suddenly get angry during a conversation, slam the door, and walk away? It's because they've forgotten the purpose of the conversation, their real goal. They start thinking, you offended me, you humiliated me, you disrespected me, so I have to strike back. Their fragile ego takes over. The dialogue breaks down, replaced by a powerful emotional reaction. There's a famous line in The Godfather, never hate your enemies. It affects your judgment. While your child, partner, or colleague isn't your enemy, the principle is the same. Don't let anyone provoke you. Always remember the meaning of the conversation. When you feel your emotions spiraling out of control, just silently repeat your purpose, once or twice. Your emotions will gradually calm down, and you can return to speaking from the heart. 3. Become a dual processor in communication. To communicate well in crucial moments, you need to develop a dual core processor. I love this concept. Just like a phone or a CPU with a dual core chip works more efficiently than a single core one, so do we. We often let crucial conversations spiral out of control because we typically use only a single processor. You only process the content of the conversation, not the conditions, the atmosphere. You've seen it happen. One person keeps talking, while the other doesn't want to listen and just wants it to stop. But as soon as they hear, just stop talking, the first person talks even more. Eventually, one gets angrier and starts shouting, and the other responds in kind. the atmosphere is destroyed. Why do we fall into this trap? 2 reasons. First, we are obsessed with getting our own point across. We just want to vent our frustrations and complaints, justifying it by saying, "I'm only saying this for their own good." But you fail to see the other person's resistance and pain. The second reason is that we are wired to hear injustice. For example, a father sees his daughter hanging out with friends who party at nightclubs. He's worried and tries to talk to her. But right from the start, she gets angry and says, "You never care about me. You just don't want me to hang out with them because you're afraid of losing face, of what it will do to this family's reputation." Hearing this, you'd think the father would be heartbroken, right? It's clearly unfair to him. But if he pursues fairness, he might slam the table and yell, "If you think I don't care, then do whatever you want. And when something happens, don't come crying to me." Does this pursuit of fairness improve their relationship? No. In fact, his words just confirmed his daughter's belief that he doesn't love her. She might storm out, and he might end up drinking alone. This is how families slowly drift towards an irreparable breaking point. The truth is, only those with a fragile inner self, like teenagers, cry out for fairness during a dialogue. An emotionally mature adult doesn't chase fairness. They focus on how to solve the problem and create a better outcome for both parties. So, when communicating, don't just focus on the content. Don't get fixated on what you hear, or only care about what you want to say. Remember, the most important thing in a conversation isn't fairness, but a balance between content and conditions, safety. You might not see the atmosphere, but others can always feel it. The atmosphere is a form of non-verbal communication, and it's incredibly powerful. Instinctively, when humans sense a lack of safety, they either fight or flee to protect themselves. Therefore, the only way to get yourself and others to open up for an honest, respectful conversation is to restore safety. So, the first method to create a safe atmosphere when things get heated is to apologize. People are afraid to talk to someone who never sees their own faults. In the father's case, he could start by setting aside his ego, bringing the relationship back to equilibrium, and admitting, "Maybe your mom and I have been too busy with work and haven't spent enough time with you. I'm truly sorry for that. We have some time today, so please sit down and talk with me." An apology isn't a sign of weakness. On the contrary, it shows you are truly strong. A timely apology is a powerful act that comes from the heart, saying, "I want to protect this relationship. I truly love you." Or, "I'm sorry, maybe I didn't get some details right. If I'm wrong, I hope you can point it out." The second method is to use contrasting. For example, "My intention in bringing this up is to help you make progress this year, not to put pressure on you. The reason I want to talk is so we can resolve the tension from the past few days, not to blame you." Clarifying your positive intent before stating your concern helps to diffuse a tense atmosphere. Another method is to establish a mutual purpose. We both want what's best for the company. We both want to create a better product. When you emphasize a shared goal, the other person feels safe and becomes more collaborative. One more method is to always maintain respect. Respect is like the air we breathe. You don't notice it when it's there, but the moment it's gone, you feel it immediately. Without air, you suffocate. Without respect, the conversation is immediately choked. Maintaining respect isn't just about surface-level politeness. It's something we must cultivate from within. We must be able to maintain genuine respect for everyone around us. If you notice the other person's emotions starting to turn, You should ask yourself, did I just say something disrespectful? Using these 4 methods, apologizing, creating a mutual purpose, contrasting, and above all, maintaining respect, can effectively de-escalate a tense situation. These are for when you notice the other person is getting upset. But what if you're the one who's about to blow up? My advice: stop the conversation. Take a moment to step away. During this time, ask yourself about your true purpose for the conversation, to genuinely calm down and return to a state where your ego isn't in control. These are the preparatory steps to help you manage the atmosphere, make the other person feel safe, and create an opportunity for both of you to be open and sincere. Now, we can begin the conversation from the heart. Four, state the facts. Why do so many people fear that the truth hurts? Because they often deliver the truth bundled with resentment or judgment. Your task is simply to state the event as a fact. Instead of telling a colleague, "You're working way too slowly on this. The client is getting angry," you state the facts. "I've noticed the project is moving slower than planned. Could you share any challenges you're facing?" Instead of telling your child, "See, you spent all your time dancing. That's why you only got a 6 on the test." Just state the facts. "I see your test score this time was a 6. Do you think your dance classes might be affecting your study time? Let's look at your schedule together and see if we can balance things for a better result." Instead of telling your partner, "Why can't you do anything right? I'm so tired of this," it's better to say, "I feel there are a few things we could improve on together. What do you think about us brainstorming some solutions?" Factual statements that are loaded with words like "why," "how come," "so," or "really" are no longer expressions of fact. They become a platform for your ego to criticize, blame, and resent the other person. After stating the facts of the problem, the next step is to express your own desires or persuade the other person to do something. How can you do this without causing conflict or pressure? This is where we recall the guiding questions that lead back to the heart. Your ultimate goal is what's best for both of you. Therefore, you must use a win-win mindset. Let's take a sensitive example: asking for a raise. You can present the issue and say, "I feel that with a salary increase, I could better utilize my potential and strengths. I also believe it would be fair. I don't want you to think I'm only working for money. I hope to contribute even more to our company. I hope you'll consider this." Then you can continue by asking for their perspective. "I'd like to hear your thoughts on my performance, as well as any other feedback or suggestions you have for me." Why ask for their opinion? This prevents them from retreating into silence or launching a personal attack. Silence is avoidance. A personal attack is finding reasons to make things difficult for you. But even if they still respond with criticism or ignore you, that's okay. You can again use the techniques from before. Restore your own emotional balance and return the conversation to a safe place. Most importantly, when the other person's view differs from yours, or is even wrong, you need to find common ground and express agreement. For example, we both want this company to be a place that values dedication, and I completely agree with that. We both hope the company can save costs, and I'm fully on board with that too. Rushing to negate what someone says will only provoke a strong reaction. You must find a point of agreement to bridge the communication gap. Remember, in crucial conversations, you're not just looking out for your own interests. you must also consider the interests of others. Only then can you add your perspective, clarifying blind spots they might have missed. For example, over the past 3 years, I have worked very hard to achieve the company's goals, and according to my annual reviews, my performance has been consistently outstanding. I'm truly proud of what I've accomplished with the company. I've also been thinking about my current salary, and I feel it doesn't accurately reflect my level of contribution after 3 years. I believe a salary adjustment would be a great motivator for me to continue striving and contributing even more. My current salary might lead to a decrease in my passion for the job, and I might even consider resigning for another opportunity. I don't want to leave the company, and I believe that wouldn't be a good outcome for either of us. Therefore, my proposal is that the company considers a raise, perhaps with some additional responsibilities, and I would be more than willing to contribute more. This would also be a great encouragement for my progress. Doing so would not only create more value for the company, but also improve my life. What are your thoughts on this? In summary, even when the other person's viewpoint is completely different from yours, you can still use the method of stating facts and presenting constructive, win-win ideas to reach a collaborative agreement. This is incredibly difficult because many people are deeply rooted in their fixed mindsets. However, these very difficulties make life interesting. Because it's hard, we must continue to practice and use every crucial conversation as an opportunity for self-cultivation. This is how you become a master communicator who can truly speak from the heart. Once you can train yourself to control your emotions, not get angry instantly, calmly state the facts, and create a safe atmosphere for others, you've already achieved great success. You have overcome your instincts and social habits to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Remember, a crucial conversation must always start from the heart. Your words should represent your true, ultimate goal, a good outcome for both of you. It's not a debate to manipulate others, nor is it about satisfying your own desires while ignoring the other's needs. Nor is it about simply pleasing the other person. In conclusion, the skills for effective communication in crucial moments aren't about winning people over. They are, above all, about winning over yourself, conquering the demon of anger and your own oversized ego. I hope that every word we speak each day becomes an opportunity for all of us to cultivate our souls, grow, and live a happier life. Thank you for listening. If you found this video helpful, please share it with those who need it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to catch the latest videos every week. Don't forget to leave your thoughts, feelings, and reflections in the comments below. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.